What is the best way to introduce your solutions in a pitch deck story? Let's find out. Welcome to the big reveal, the solution section. Now, if your audience cares about the problem you just described, they'll naturally want to know your proposed solution. And once again, they're trying to make a quick decision, yes, no, or maybe. If they are buyers and this is a sales conversation, they're trying to decide, do I need this solution? Can I buy it now? Do I need to buy it now? And if you're talking to investors, it could be other questions. They're first of all trying to say, is this solution, does it make sense? Do I want to invest in this solution? Does it fit my portfolio? Do I want my name connected to this solution, this company, or this person? Now, there are many factors that can impact what they might answer on this slide. It could be a logical decision. It could be an emotional. It could be something based on past experiences with similar providers and similar services. Or maybe it could be you as a person, if you remind them of someone they love or if you remind them of someone they hate. So really, there are many components that can affect how people will feel about your presentation and your message. That's why we want to keep the slide as simple and as focused as possible. We want to keep them focused on the message, the solution, and the benefits, and make it a combination of everything, logical, emotional, and try to combine everything. And that's why many people find the solution slide challenging and they get stuck. Well, how do I reveal my solutions? So really, your target goal for this section is to describe how your products or services solve the problem that your market is facing. And remember, once again, here we are talking in the solution, we're talking to the buyer, the end user. Who are the people who will be paying for it? Because investors are interested in investing in solutions that have a market need. So this is where we want to show how your solution fits that market need. So that's why the slides will be catering primarily to people who will be paying for your solutions. So in this section, you're going to learn more about how to reveal your solutions, how to communicate the benefits of your solutions, and how to deal with multiple solution scenarios. Well, what if you have multiple solutions? Where I'm going to show you some ways that you can tackle this situation. Now, when we look at the storyboard timeline, you're going to notice that I grouped 3 sections under one. That's because your solution storyboard will generally have 3 components. The first one is your solution. What is your general solution? The second is the benefits. What are the benefits of your solutions? And the third is your secret sauce. Is there anything unique or special about your solution? Now, investors in the technology space call the secret sauce, they also call it underlying magic. So if you hear the words underlying magic or secret sauce, it's really talking about the same thing. It's referring to anything that is unique, patented, or exclusive about your solution. They want to make sure, because investors want to make sure that others cannot copy your solutions quickly. They like companies that have unique intellectual property that they can license, or they like patents that prevent others from copying you for a specific period of time. And they also like traditional companies that have exclusive partnerships or exclusive access to information and suppliers that make it harder for others to copy them right away. So really, it doesn't have to be about a patent. It could be something within exclusive partnerships. So if you're talking to investors and you have something special about your solutions, now you can refer to it as your secret sauce or your underlying magic. Now, some people like to mention their secret sauce or unique advantage in the competition section. Now, once again, there's no wrong or right way. You get to decide how to tell your story. I'm showing you the different pieces, the building blocks of your presentation, and during the editing, you can decide where you plug in that information. And remember, you can always change the amount of slides and the content based on the audience temperature. Now, if you're talking as a teaser conversation, this is a starter pitch deck that you're just doing an introduction. You don't want to dump everything on your audience. You just want to give them a bit of a teaser, a hint of what it could be so that they can ask you. And then once they ask you more questions, you can start providing more details as you build that relationship with the warm audience who knows you. And when you're ready to close the sale, that's when you have to reveal everything. Now, so on the solution slide, we want to keep it high level, especially on the starter deck. So you want to demonstrate that your solutions can solve specifically the problem that you just described. So if you have a simple solution, this is going to be very easy. You're going to say, here's the problem, here's the solution, here's how they plug in, and here are the benefits. It's an easy story. But for in other situations, you might have multiple solutions. So you might find this challenging. Now, many of my clients have a variety of products and services, and they're not sure on which one to add to their pitch deck. They tell me, hey, Huayda, I do this, I do that, and we do this, and it gets so complicated where they're getting confused, I'm getting confused, and then, of course, if we put that on a pitch deck, then the audience is going to be confused as well. So in the next video, I'm going to show you a framework that can help you stay more focused. But for now, I wanted to show you some templates on the market, specifically commercial templates. So these are just commercial templates. I wanted to show you what you might find and how you might use these as placeholders and a starting point to put in your solutions. So at a high level, you might find slides like this. It's very easy. It's just called solutions, and you'll notice that they have these three buckets. Now, there's something called in marketing, the rule of three. So you're going to find many slides that follow this framework where you have three buckets to add content. Even with designs, they use three, and content, there's something about the rule of three. So if possible, if you do have 3 points, use 3 points. Otherwise, use less. Going over can get a bit confusing. So this is a good slide where it's just simple. Even if you don't have graphics, you can just plug in text for now. Right now, you're just trying to get your storyboard going. You can always jazz up the slides later. So here's what that framework could look like. You can see you've got the solution title. Now, once again, you can put a solution, or you can use that real estate wisely. You can put some other content is there and declutter the slide. But I wanted to show you that's what the commercial templates look like. And you can see here we've got 3 placeholders on the right where you can plug in elements about your solution. And this would be another example where you've got the title. It doesn't even have to be bullet points. You can just use 3 statements, kind of like what we did with the problem slide. As long as they're matching and you're combining that this is the exact solution to the problem I'm talking to you about, then it will work. Now, in some cases, you might find slides called the utopia. Now, utopia really means ideal situation. So this is common if you're still in the idea phase. You haven't developed the solution yet, and you're looking for investors, or you're recruiting teams to come and help you with this presentation. So you might call it the utopia, that in the ideal situation, this would be the solution, and this is what we're trying to create. So that's what it really means. It's another fancy word for solution. Now, another slide you might find is the value proposition. So once again, you've got the title, value proposition, and you've got a placeholder to plug in the 3 points about your solution. So really, value proposition, you might remember that word because we talked about it earlier in the cover section. So you'll remember here it was called unique value proposition, which is really another fancy name for a statement that describes your solution. So instead of calling your slide solution, you can actually give the title. You can use the same value proposition statement and put that as the title slide for your solutions. Now, some people or companies that are established, if you have a tagline, you can put the tagline on the cover slide and then the unique value proposition on the solution slide. But keep it simple for now. If you're just starting and you don't have all these statements, keep it simple. That's why my tip here is always create that unique value proposition statement first, and you can worry about all of the other statements and the purpose statements and the taglines and the slogans later on. For now, you just need that one sentence, the one statement that describes what is your solution. So going back to this example, you can see that you have a value proposition statement and benefits. So I would probably take out that title and just make that statement bigger, whatever the value proposition statement is. And I'll put 3 supporting points to show how that specifically plugs into the problem we talked about. Now, you might also find templates like this one here where it just says product or service. So this is a prompt where you can put the product name. You're just revealing, well, here's our solution, and you can put a picture of your product and a statement, either 1, 2, or 3. Really, there's no rule here as long as it's decluttered and it makes sense and it's clear. We're going for clarity over creativity. That's what we're going with all these slides. So this could be a good example. Now, another one, if you have services. So some people, the services slide is actually your solution. Now, I'm going to show you a better tip in the next video on how to deal with the services, but this was one from a commercial template where it's giving you 4 placeholders to put the 4 different services that could tie into the solution. Now, even if you're a freelancer or a new contractor, you still don't have a company, you don't have a logo, you can just call it what I can do for you. Really, it's another way of saying this is my solution, these are the services I can provide for you. So in the next few videos, I'm going to show you some more specific examples of solution slides, and I'm going to show you a framework that will help you stay focused. But for now, let's see, do you remember what content would you include to explain the following: solution, benefits, and secret sauce? Do you remember? Well, here are the answers. I'll make it easier for you. The solution is really more about introducing your product and service. We're not going to telling a whole story here. It's not a demo. It's just this is a general solution. The benefits are the top highlights. Now, you might have many benefits, but we're going to try to narrow it down. Always try to use that rule of 3. Is there anything, 3 points? What are the top 3 points that are the benefits of your solutions? And secret sauce, is there anything unique or proprietary about your solution? So your action item really is to continue watching the next few videos, because once you watch all the solutions videos, it'll make more sense. So go ahead and I'll see you in the next video.